Today I'm going to be taking you through a short abs and glutes workout. This will take you about 15 minutes. We're going to do 24 exercises with 30 seconds each. It's perfect to do as a little daily workout whenever you get a little bit of time. So we'll get started onto your back. And here we'll get straight into some abdo preps. So making sure you've got a neutral spine position, hands behind the head. When you're ready, curling up on your out breath, focusing on drawing the ribs together and sliding them down to disappear into the abdomen. Make sure you keep your pelvis nice and still as you do this. Take a quick rest here, and then next we're going to be taking it up into abdo preps with an oblique twist. So exactly the same as your last exercise, but as you curl up you're then going to rotate to one side and then alternate each time you come up. Make sure you keep the pelvis nice and still as you do your twist and focus on drawing the rib over to the opposite hip. One more quick rest and reset, and then we're going to be going up into abdo preps from a double tabletop with a flat back position, so imprinting your spine, and then when you're ready, curling up on the out breath, trying to focus on drawing the rib cage down towards the hips as much as you can, and then just take a check that you've kept that nice flat back so your pelvis is nice and still, so your knees aren't juddering forwards or backwards as you curl up and down. Pull the knees into the chest, give them a little hug just to rest and reset here before we go up into crisscross. So still with a flat back and double tabletop, you're going to curl up to start with, and then when you're ready on your out breath, you're going to twist and stretch the opposite leg away. I want you to get lots of length and lower with the leg, but make sure that your stationary knee stays nice and still as you try and twist towards it. Another quick rest before moving into double leg stretch next. For your double leg stretch, you'll curl up with a nice imprinted spine, reach the hands towards the ankles, and then on the out breath, stretch both legs away, reaching the arms overhead and circling through as we scoop the legs back in. I want you to try and lift your tailbone as much as you can, and then maintain that lift as you stretch the legs away. So you'll only reach the legs as low as you can control, making sure you keep a nice flat back. Now we're going to move on to glutes next, going up through some bridges. So feet will be flat down as close in towards your hips as possible. Rest your arms down, and then when you're ready, you're going to tighten through the core and then squeeze down through the heels as you push the pelvis up into your bridges. Take a quick rest, and now you'll pull your left knee in towards your chest. Keep the knee hugging in as tight as possible, and then we're going to go up into single leg bridges on the right side. So exactly the same technique, squeeze down through the right heel, push the pelvis up, tightening through the glutes. The more you keep the left knee pulled in towards your chest, you'll keep the pelvis tilted and you'll feel it more into your right glute. And now you can release, reset, and we'll change to the opposite side. So pull the right knee into your chest as tight as you can. Give it a good hug And then when you're ready, pressing down through the left heel, squeezing the left glute to raise the pelvis up. Okay, we're going back over to the opposite side now for pulses. So float your left knee up into a single tabletop position. When you're ready, press down through the right heel, raise the pelvis up, and then pulse at the top of the movement here. Don't you just get tired chasing fame and being pretty all the time? Doesn't sound like fun. You can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better, so much better. I don't fit into your box, beauty queens without no flaws. Take another quick rest here before resetting to the opposite side. So you'll float your right knee up into a single tabletop position, squeeze down through the left heel, push the pelvis up and pulse at the top of the movement. If I want, let yourself be free and maybe you will find that there is more to life than being pretty. Honey, let's just face it, you can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better. And now when you're ready, you'll roll to one side to go into side jackknives, reaching the bottom arm straight out in front of you and the top hand behind the head. And then we're going to crunch up to the side with both legs, lifting up as high as we can through the upper body, trying to coordinate our upper and lower body together. And now we'll get ready for teaser twist. So for this exercise, you're going to cross your ankles, reach the top arm straight overhead. And then when you're ready, as we roll to our teaser, we're going to roll back on our hip, reach the hand towards the legs, breathing out to come up, and then inhaling, reaching the arm overhead and trying to get that length through the top side of the body. So you'll roll straight from the side of the hip onto your bottom on that one side. Okay, let's repeat on the other side. So swiveling around to the opposite side, starting with your side jackknives. So your bottom arm straight out, top hand behind the head, and crunching up to the side, trying to keep the coordination between upper and lower body. Take a quick rest and then we'll go straight into teaser twist. So crossing the ankles, top arm reaching overhead, get that nice stretch, and then we'll roll back on the hip to come up to teaser, reaching our hand towards our feet, breathing out to come up, inhaling, lengthening and lowering. And now we're going to go into our regular teaser. So rolling to your back, starting with the legs up in double tabletop, gluing the knees and ankles together. Inhale, float the arms overhead. Exhale, curl up onto the sitting bones. Lengthen the legs away and reach the fingertips towards the feet. You're aiming for a nice parallel line between the arms and the legs as you do this one. The watch points with the teaser are to keep the shoulders down and not let the shoulder blades creep up towards the ears. You can stay up for a quick rest now before moving on to our teaser with leg lift and lowers. So you'll rock back to your sitting bones, float up to your teaser start position, and then keeping the body nice and still, I want you to lift the arms up at the same time lowering the legs, and then press the arms and legs towards each other. Your aim is to keep the body nice and still while the arms and legs do the press. Take a quick rest, and then we're going to swivel to our side to go into a variation of the clam. So you're up onto your elbow for this one. You'll float the heels up, so clam level 2. And then when you're ready, turning out with the knee, keeping the heels lifted and the waist lifted. Take a quick rest before moving on to hip lifts. For this next exercise, you'll extend your leg straight out, lengthen it away, lift through the waist. You can keep the knee slightly turned in if you want to give it a bit more of a challenge. And then we're going to lift and lower from waist height up. Now we have one more glute exercise in this series, which will be side kick. So same start position as the hip lifts. Lengthen the leg away at hip height, lengthen the waist, and then you'll kick the leg forwards and then press the heel back. Your key watch points when you do this is to make sure the waist stays long and that you don't arch your back as you kick back. So you want to tighten through the abdominals like you're drawing your pubic bone up to your navel, getting the tuck of the tailbone on the kick back. See how far you can kick back, keeping the pelvis nice and still. Stay with me, this is our last one in this series. Well done. Now we're going to go over to the opposite side to do our clam level 2 to start with. So lifting through the waist, pushing out through the shoulder, heels lifted, and then off you go, turning the knee out to the ceiling. Now we have our hip lifts, so a little moment to rest, and then when you're ready, extending the legs straight out, reaching through the waist, turning the knee slightly in if you want that challenge, and then lifting and lowering from waist height upwards. Now we're on to our last exercise. You should be feeling the burn by now, but we're going now into side kick. So you'll extend the top leg away, point the toe as you float the legs forward, kicking it through, and then flex through the ankle as you kick the heel back, really digging through, driving through like there's a heavy box you're pushing back behind you. Try to keep the waist up and the leg nice and high at hip height. Take take a well-deserved rest, you can roll onto your back and you're going to cross one ankle over the knee and then pull your thigh in towards you to give yourself a nice glute stretch here. Try and keep a neutral pelvis if possible, just to intensify the stretch, and then change through to the opposite side. And then release the legs, roll up into sitting, cross the ankles, pull the knees in, give yourself a little hug, lengthen the spine, and then you can relax. Well done.